It was July 12th, 2021, when the Phoenix West High School gymnasium demolition crew began clearing the old building's equipment rooms, and 48-year-old demolition manager Daniel Ross's breath caught in his throat when he finally managed to pry open the sealed wall behind the main equipment room. Behind the thick concrete wall was a small, confined storage area that didn't appear on any architectural plans or building diagrams, and on the cold concrete floor lay a complete human skeleton still wearing a faded red and white basketball uniform, with scattered basketball shoes and a worn sports bag positioned beside it. Within hours, DNA analysis would confirm what the Phoenix, Arizona community had feared and suspected for 21 long years. They'd finally found Isabella Garcia, the beloved 18-year-old basketball star who vanished without a trace after entering the equipment room following Friday night practice on October 13th, 2000. Her locker had been left open, school books neatly stacked inside, her water bottle half full, as if she'd simply gone to take a quick shower and would return any moment. The truth was far darker and more sinister. She'd been brutally murdered and sealed in a hidden storage area by someone she trusted implicitly, someone whose special shooting technique she wanted to see demonstrated, someone who'd continued working at the gymnasium for years afterward, using her memory and her disappearance as a shield. For 21 years, basketball players had trained and practiced in the adjacent room, never knowing their beloved teammate's body lay hidden just feet away behind the sealed wall. Criminal laboratory technicians carefully examined organic materials and concrete samples found throughout the storage area. Sweat traces, blood stains, hair strands, evidence that had been left exactly 21 years ago, preserved by the sealed environment. A comprehensive scan began in the Arizona State Forensic DNA Database, searching through millions of profiles. The result was absolutely shocking. The DNA samples pointed directly to a name: Thomas Wright, gymnasium custodian. There was another DNA profile on the area's walls, on concrete blocks, and on various sports equipment scattered around. Saliva traces, skin cells, sweat samples. The database gave definitive results in just 1.9 seconds. Thomas Wright, 63 years old, a man who had worked as a custodian at Phoenix West High School gymnasium for 28 years without incident. DNA analyses, concrete samples, and organic materials inside the sealed area all pointed to a name Phoenix had trusted completely for 21 years: gymnasium custodian Thomas Wright. Wright had actively joined Isabella's search teams, supported the Garcia family's hopeful theory at school meetings that maybe she ran away to another city, maybe she started a new life somewhere else. He had even given an emotional interview on the local news channel, tearfully said, "Isabella was a great player. I saw her every single day. I miss her so much." Now police were asking him one direct question: how was Isabella's body lying in your gymnasium for 21 years with your DNA everywhere, Thomas? In the southern equipment section of Phoenix West High School Gymnasium, 8 meters beyond the main storage area, behind the thick sealed wall, Isabella Garcia's skeletal remains were discovered. 18 years old, a young athlete dreaming of making her dreams come true with a college basketball scholarship. Silenced forever because the gymnasium custodian wanted to show her a special three-point shooting technique. Daniel Ross was an experienced demolition manager at 48 years old. He had been working on demolition of old buildings throughout Arizona and surrounding areas for 24 years. He had served on dozens of school building, sports facility, and public building demolition projects. Phoenix West High School had originally opened in 1978 and had been serving the Phoenix community for 43 years. With a fully equipped basketball court, gymnastics area, and modern weight training rooms, it was the city's most important and prestigious high school sports facility. But by 2021, the aging building was experiencing serious structural problems. There were visible cracks in the walls. The electrical system was outdated and dangerous. Safety standards weren't being met according to current codes. The Phoenix School District decided to build a completely new sports complex. Ross and his 15-person experienced crew started the careful demolition work on July 9, 2021. An 8-week project timeline was expected. On Monday afternoon, July 12, 2021, Ross and his crew were working in the southern section of the old building. The plan was to systematically clear the equipment rooms and then demolish the walls. At exactly 3:15 p.m., the crew reached the unusual wall section behind the main equipment room. The wall was made of thick concrete, approximately 10 inches thick, and unusually reinforced. According to all architectural plans, there should only be empty space behind this particular wall. Ross began hitting the wall repeatedly with a sledgehammer. First strike, the concrete cracked slightly. Second strike, the crack widened significantly. Third strike, a hole formed. Ross shined his powerful flashlight through the hole. What he saw froze his blood completely. A small area, about 7 feet wide, 9 feet long, completely sealed off. And on the floor, a human skeleton. Red and white basketball uniform, basketball shoes, sports bag. Ross backed away quickly, struggling to breathe normally. He called to his crew urgently. Everyone stepped back immediately. "I'm calling the police. Now." The Phoenix Police Department arrived at the scene at 3:32 p.m. 3 patrol cars came first, sirens blaring, followed by Detective James Harlow's unmarked vehicle. Harlow was 44 years old, had been a cop for 19 years, and had been working specifically in the cold case unit for the last 8 years. He knew Arizona's small towns and big city suburbs exceptionally well. He understood very well how missing persons cases destroyed families and communities over time. Forensic teams meticulously examined the sealed area with extreme care. Crime scene technicians photographed from every possible angle, measured distances precisely, collected samples from every surface. The skeleton was lying on its side, knees slightly bent in a fetal position. There was obvious blunt trauma to the left side of the skull, a single powerful impact point, clearly made with a heavy blunt object. Clothing remnants were a faded red and white basketball uniform, number 23, worn Nike basketball shoes from the late 90s era. Next to the skeleton were a sports bag, water bottle, and towel. A silver bracelet on the right wrist was carefully engraved with the letters IG. "A basketball player," Harlow said quietly to his team. "She played or trained here regularly. We need to check the entire history of this school and missing person cases from the last 30 years immediately." Phoenix West High School records were meticulously reviewed by Harlow and his dedicated team over the following hours. The school had trained hundreds of student athletes for decades. In the yellowing files, there was one significant missing person case from 2000. Isabella Garcia, 18 years old, high school senior, team captain, disappeared under mysterious circumstances on Friday, October 13, 2000. Harlow carefully opened the thick 2000 case file that had been stored in archives for 21 long years. Detective Michael Rodriguez had conducted the comprehensive original investigation at that time. Rodriguez was now 65 years old and retired, living in Scottsdale. Harlow called him that same evening. "Isabella Garcia," Rodriguez said slowly, his voice heavy with memory. "I never forgot that case in all these years. She was a wonderful young girl. Everyone in the community loved her deeply. Hardworking, talented, promising athlete with a bright future. She disappeared after basketball practice on Friday night. We searched for months extensively. We found no trace whatsoever. Were there any suspicious individuals at the time?" Harlow asked carefully. Rodriguez paused, thinking back. The gymnasium custodian, Thomas Wright. He was very helpful, concerned, cooperative. There was nothing suspicious at that time at all. DNA comparison was immediately conducted at the Arizona State Police Forensic Laboratory. Isabella's mother, Maria Garcia, 64 years old, still lived in Phoenix, just 4 miles from the school where her daughter disappeared. A reference DNA sample was collected from her. Maria's hands were shaking uncontrollably during the procedure. A week later, the result came through. Definite match. The skeleton was Isabella Maria Garcia. Isabella Maria Garcia was born on March 5, 1982 in Phoenix. Her mother, Maria Garcia, was a dedicated 28-year-old nurse. Her father, Carlos Garcia, was a hard-working construction worker. Isabella was the Garcia family's second child. Her older brother, Miguel, was 3 years older. The family lived in a modest neighborhood in southern Phoenix. As a child, Isabella was energetic, athletic, always moving. At 8, she started playing basketball. At 12, she won her first tournament award. At 15, she was selected as most valuable player at the state youth championship. When she started at Phoenix West High School, she was immediately the star of the school team. Her coach, Coach Martinez, immediately saw Isabella's tremendous potential. This girl could go to a Division I university, get a full scholarship, he thought confidently. In fall 2000, Isabella was 18 years old and a high school senior. That year, she aimed to win the state championship and receive a full basketball scholarship from Arizona State University. UCLA was actively watching. Stanford was showing serious interest. Isabella's closest friend was Sarah Chen. The two trained together, studied together, shared dreams. Isabella was genuinely happy. She had big dreams for her future. But there was something Isabella didn't know. Gymnasium custodian Thomas Wright was watching her constantly. Thomas Edward Wright was born in Arizona in 1958. His family was poor. His father drove trucks long distance. His mother was a cleaning worker. Thomas finished high school, but didn't go to college. He worked various jobs throughout his 20s. Warehouse worker, security guard, maintenance worker. In 1972, he started as a seasonal cleaning worker at Phoenix West High School. In 1978, he became a full-time gymnasium custodian. Thomas was a quiet, withdrawn man who kept to himself. He had a brief marriage at 45, but divorced quickly. He had no children. He lived alone in a small apartment near the school. He loved his job but didn't like people much, especially young women. He would watch them obsessively but never approach directly. In summer 2000, Thomas noticed Isabella training. She would come every day, train hard. Thomas would watch her through windows. Isabella was beautiful, young, athletic, full of life. Thomas became obsessed with her completely. Every day he would wait for Isabella to come. He knew when she trained. He knew when she took breaks. He knew when she went to the equipment room alone. Friday, October 13th, 2000, was a beautiful fall day in Phoenix. The weather was cool, but sunny and pleasant. Isabella woke at 6 a.m. as usual. She put on her basketball clothes, tied her hair in a bun, prepared her sports bag carefully. Maria was making breakfast in the kitchen. "Good morning, mija," said Maria warmly. "Good morning, Mom." Isabella drank a glass of orange juice, grabbed her bag, and went to school. The school day was normal. Classes, lunch, math test. At 3:30 p.m. afternoon, school ended. Isabella went home, studied for a few hours. Evening practice was scheduled at 7 p.m. At 6:40 p.m., Maria took Isabella to school in their car. "I'll be waiting for you here after practice," said Maria. "Okay, Mom." Isabella entered the gymnasium building. Evening practice started promptly at 7 p.m. Coach Martinez was intense and demanding. Sprint drills, shooting practice, defense work. Isabella was in excellent form, energetic and focused. At 9:15 p.m., practice ended. Players went to the locker room area. Isabella went to her assigned locker. She took off her sweaty uniform, wrapped herself in a towel. She was about to go to the shower when Thomas Wright appeared suddenly at the equipment room door. "Isabella, I'm sorry to bother you, but I want to show you something important." New basketballs arrived today in the back storage area. I got NBA quality especially for you and the team. Could improve your three-point shot significantly. Just 5 minutes of your time. Isabella hesitated, uncertain. Now? I need to shower. My mom is waiting outside. It'll be very quick, I promise you. Could really help for tomorrow's important game. Isabella thought for a moment. Thomas was the gymnasium custodian, a trusted person. He'd been working at the school for years. Everyone knew him. Okay, but it has to be very quick. Thomas led Isabella to the equipment room through the narrow corridor. The area was dark, deserted, quiet. Isabella felt uncomfortable suddenly. Where are the new balls exactly? Thomas turned around slowly. Actually, Isabella, there are no new balls at all. Isabella's face changed to confusion and fear. What do you mean? Thomas approached closer. I've been watching you for years, every single day. You're special to me. Isabella backed away instinctively. Mr. Wright, what are you doing? I need to go home now. Thomas's face changed completely, darkening. No, he said firmly. Isabella tried to run, but Thomas was faster and stronger. He caught her arm. Isabella screamed loudly. Thomas put his hand over Isabella's mouth hard. There was a heavy metal pipe leaning against the wall. Thomas grabbed it and struck Isabella's head with brutal force. Isabella fell to the ground unconscious. Thomas backed away, breathing hard. He was out of breath, shaking. What had he done? Thomas looked around frantically. No one was there in the building. He dragged Isabella's body into the small storage area. Then he found concrete blocks, mortar to build a wall. He worked all night long, sealing the area. By 5:30 a.m., the wall was complete. Thomas went to Isabella's locker carefully. He left everything as it was. Then he went home. Maria Garcia began to worry at 9:30 p.m. Practice should have ended at 9:15. Maria drove to school immediately. She entered the gymnasium. She couldn't see Isabella anywhere. She went to the locker room. It was empty. But Isabella's locker was open. Her books were there. But Isabella wasn't there. Maria called the police frantically. The Phoenix Police Department took the missing person report seriously. Detective Rodriguez took the case immediately. The entire facility was searched thoroughly. Isabella's locker was examined. Everything was normal, but Isabella wasn't there. Rodriguez questioned Thomas Wright directly. Did you see Isabella tonight? Yes, detective. I saw her entering the locker room after practice ended. Did she seem normal to you? Yes, she looked happy. Normal. Rodriguez took detailed notes. Thomas seemed calm and helpful. Days became weeks. Search teams scanned Phoenix extensively. The FBI joined the investigation. No trace was found anywhere. The case went cold eventually. Years passed slowly. Thomas Wright continued his normal life. Every year, a memorial service was held for Isabella. Thomas always attended, looking sad. In 2021, when Daniel Ross broke through that wall, everything changed forever. Detective Harlow worked closely with genetic genealogy specialist Dr. Rachel Kim. A complete DNA profile was created. 3 weeks later, a match came. Thomas Wright. July 20th, 2021, 6 a.m. Harlow came to Thomas Wright's small house. Thomas opened the door. He was 63 years old now. Thomas Wright, you're under arrest in connection with the murder of Isabella Garcia. Thomas bowed his head slowly. 21 years, he whispered quietly. At the station, Thomas confessed to everything. He told everything about that Friday night. Why? Harlow asked. Thomas was silent for a long time. I don't know. The darkness inside me. The trial began in September 2021. Thomas was charged with first-degree murder. The jury decided quickly. Guilty. The judge announced the sentence. Life in prison without parole. Maria Garcia spoke emotionally. My daughter was 18 years old. Thomas Wright took her from me. He lied for 21 years. Phoenix West High School was rebuilt completely. Isabella Garcia, Memorial Gymnasium. Bronze plaque. Isabella Maria Garcia, 1982 to 2000. Her dreams were stolen, but her memory lives on. If this story moved you, please subscribe and hit the like button. Every subscription helps us continue investigating cold cases that families are still waiting to solve. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from and which unsolved case you'd like us to cover. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.